$53 million. John Lynch, you're welcome. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And you know what else I was right about?
What?
I said, Nick, you know this. This is whether you think he's worth $60 million, I know you don't, but this is a team-friendly deal in a lot of ways. It's friendly for him too. It's a great deal for both.
There are wins in this deal for both sides.
Right. And so like when I said, I think he's the type of guy, he will leave some money. He wants them to have room to go get other guys. That's what he did. Like, he didn't go he's the 7th highest quarterback in the league. Usually, whether you deserve it or not, you're right. If you don't set the new mark, you're right there at the top.
That's true.
And he didn't do that. So I think that's
Can I throw another thing in here? Because I'll swim in your pond a little bit. As also predicted by you accurately, with the cap going up. And Bill Barnwell today, Purdy is only taking 19% of the cap, where Joe Burrow, when he signed the deal, was 25%, Josh Allen was 24%, Herbert was 24%, Mahomes was around 23%. Purdy's only 19%. Accurately predicted again by Brew. That's from Bill Barnwell. Bill Barnwell didn't say accurately predicted by Brew, but he might as well.
Well, and Josh Allen has since redone his deal. And this was the point Colin made, and I agree with him. So Josh Allen redid his deal to where he now makes $55 million a year. If I were running the Niners, there is no way in the world I would have Brock Purdy closer to Josh Allen's updated, recent salary than, to use the example Colin gave, Baker's. I think that and now Brock wouldn't have taken, Baker makes $33 million a year, Brock wouldn't have taken 35.
And no one's paying Baker Mayfield right now $35. If his contract was up, he would not be getting a $35 million contract. We know that. I'm gonna let this play, but we need to stop with that. Baker Mayfield got that contract because he was hanging on by a thread, had a pretty good year with the Bucs, and it was like, hey, come on, you wanna keep doing this whole thing? But right now, Baker Mayfield has earned a lot more respect over these last couple of years, and there's no chance that if a team needed a quarterback, that he would only be able to command $33, $34, $35 million a year. No question about it. No question about it.
But which is why I wouldn't have done it. And Brew does deserve, not only the victory lap, but also credit for seeing Brock Purdy clearly the way Brew sees Brock Purdy is closer to how John Lynch sees him and Kyle Shanahan than how I see him. We'll see if that ends up being correct. And I know Brew hates this graphic, but this year will either be the year this graphic dies, or that I show it all the time as evidence as to why I would wait, which is Brock Purdy with and without all of his Avengers. So here is why this is relevant. I'm not even trying to start an argument.
It's not relevant.
Because every game played this year is going to count for the right-hand column, not the left-hand column. Oh my gosh. And so I personally, if I were running the Niners, because he can't have all 5 of those guys because they're gone.
But you'll get other guys.
No, I understand, but I don't think I do not think the Niners.
We need to stop with this. 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 Okay. We've already been through this. I've already made separate videos just ripping this apart. First off, the record, wins and losses, we know is not a quarterback stat. How do we know this? Because Jalen Hurts beat Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. We know that in no stretch of the imagination does Nick Wright believe that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback. Jalen Hurts now has a 2-1 record against Patrick Mahomes. Does anyone believe that Nick believes that Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes? We know that answer. So we can just get the wins and losses just out of there, okay? So let's just look at completion percentage, passing yards per game, yards per pass, touchdown interception ratio, passer rating, etc., etc. All of Patrick Mahomes' numbers absolutely plummet and collapse when he's missing his version of the Avengers. So can we stop? Because all last season, Patrick Mahomes did not, he had an injured roster, this, that, and the third, just like Brock Purdy had to deal with. Okay, this is last season. This is none other than the Patrick Mahomes, an 85.8 offensive rating via PFF. Brock Purdy, 82.4. Touchdowns, 20 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, 26 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. 6.8 yards per attempt. Brock Purdy, 8.5. Brock Purdy, 3,864 passing yards. Patrick Mahomes, 3,928. Brock Purdy, 65.9 completion percentage. Patrick Mahomes, 67.5% completion percentage. So we can stop pretending like this is just miles away. I mean, it's just so insane. It really, 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 really is insane. I mean, you can literally make the argument that Brock Purdy's numbers are better than that or right on par with Patrick Mahomes' numbers in that regard, when he doesn't have a stacked offense, so to speak. So what are we saying here? Seriously, what are we saying here? It's just so insane. It really is. It just is. It's bonkers at this point. Especially because you guys know I love to do this. Patrick Mahomes, third in yards after catch. Okay, and he didn't play that final game. If he played that final game, he would have easily been 2, dare I say, even 1. Where is Brock Purdy? All the way at 20. Okay, he had 1,644 yards after catch. Patrick Mahomes had nearly 1,000 more yards. It's just wild. Okay. So if you want to use stats like this, like yards per game, yards per pass, all of this is relevant. Passer rating, it's all relevant. Intended air yards, I already know this. Who's got one of the shortest intended air yards per pass attempt? Who's it gonna be? Patrick Mahomes. He's right next to Tua Tagovailoa and Gardner Minshew. Congrats, bud. Congrats. What about Brock Purdy? At the top of the league. 8.4 yards per attempt. Intended air yards, or average depth of target. Patrick Mahomes, 6.2. So Brock Purdy's literally averaging over 2 yards further. So again, you want to use yards per pass as a reference point. Let's use it, man. It's actually pretty impressive then what Brock Purdy has been able to do and not be able to get the yards after catch benefit. Just crazy. Again, last season, all these injuries that Brock Purdy was dealing with, okay? And his on-target percentage was 78.4. Patrick Mahomes dealt with all those injuries for his team, 76.9% on-target percentage. Oh, but they went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, one defense was not like the other. The Kansas City Chiefs defense was giving up 19 points a game. The 49ers defense was giving up nearly 27 points per game. You think that matters? You think that has an effect? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people said, oh, well, the Eagles only won because of their defense. Oh, so then you're saying defense matters. So you're saying maybe having a top defense in the NFL helps you win more games? That's interesting. That's interesting. Like, this narrative right here is just so dumb. Oh, let's look what Purdy's numbers look like when we take away his number 1 wide receiver, his number 2 wide receiver, his tight end, his number 1 tight end, okay? His O-line, and we take away his number 1 running back. look at his numbers. They go down. And they can't win many games. Like, what? What are we saying? Like, are we serious right here? Like, what are we doing? It's so insanely dumb. It really is. It makes fundamentally zero sense. Zero sense. It's just absurd. So we know that Brock Purdy's better when he has better players around him, just like every single quarterback under the sun. And again, if you want to use the win-loss record, be my guest. Be my guest. I mean, again, if that's the reality, then Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. Those are the rules. I don't know, man. Those are the rules. I don't make them. Then you're the one that's creating those rules. And then if you're saying, we'll see Patrick, Josh, or Brock Purdy's clearly not as good. Look how his numbers went down. Okay, so then explain why Patrick Mahomes' numbers went down. I don't understand. You're expecting Brock Purdy to be able to ball out when he's missing linemen and his tight end and his wide receivers and his running back. Like, I don't understand. And if you want to say, oh, well, Patrick Mahomes did, I thought Patrick Mahomes is considered to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the world. So then, let's say he is. Brock Purdy needs to be that. Brock Purdy needs to be one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the world. Huh? How does that make sense? And it's so funny to put up like Trent Williams up there when all I did is hear people cry about Patrick Mahomes not having an O-line. And that's the only reason why he's lost Super Bowls is because of the O-line. And so Brock Purdy's not allowed to benefit from that? Is Brock Purdy the only it's really actually just Brock Purdy and Jalen Hurts, quite frankly. I know a lot of 49ers fans and Eagles fans like to go, against each other. You guys are brothers in arms. Honestly. You guys are brothers in arms. You both have a quarterback that people just really don't respect. So you're closer together than you're further apart. Those are the two quarterbacks that seemingly aren't allowed to benefit from having weapons. I mean, it's comically hilarious. It really is. It really, really is. Patrick Mahomes didn't benefit from having Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. Like, what? Oh, well, he won without them. Okay. First off, he hasn't without Travis Kelce. Andy Reid's his head coach. He's had great defenses. Yeah, but what about this year, that year? Okay. Patrick Mahomes won in 2022. And he didn't have as great of a defense as he's had in 23 and 24. Awesome. So I guess, therefore, we can reach the conclusion that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy. I'm so glad we got that figured out. You're right. I've been caught. I admit, I have to concede that Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback. I have to admit that I would pick Patrick Mahomes over Brock Purdy every single day. I have to admit that there is not a single situation in any moment in the NFL, in any game, on any down, on any drive, on any throw, on any play, that I would pick Brock Purdy over Patrick Mahomes. I admit that. I know. I'm so sorry. That's crazy. It's a hot take. So I'm glad we reached that conclusion. But that means that Brock Purdy then is trash. Brock Purdy's not worth the money. And then again, we're going to have this fake thing. Nick believes that Baker Mayfield's like a top 5 quarterback. And so if under Nick's logic, he believes that Baker Mayfield's a top 5 quarterback, he's certainly not worth $33 million or, whatever the heck the final number is. And I am so confident that Baker, if he was eligible for another contract this offseason, he would not sign a 3-year, $100 million contract. Or I think that's what he had signed. There's no way. None. Zero. Especially when you see what some of the other contracts these other quarterbacks are getting. Geno Smith, etc., etc. So it would be safer to say that maybe Baker Mayfield could sign a $45 to $50 million contract. Maybe more, but let's just be conservative. Let's just say he would take less than, some of these other guys. That he gets a $45 million contract. Well, Brock Purdy has led his team to 2 NFC Championship games and a Super Bowl. That's a fact. We've seen it with our own eyes. We've seen Brock Purdy hold his own against an elite defense, the best defense in the NFL at the time, against the Kansas City Chiefs. We have not seen Baker do that. And you can say, oh, well, Brock Purdy's had better teams. That's fine. That's fine. But we've still seen what Baker was capable of doing. And we've seen what Brock Purdy was capable of doing. And based off of what the evidence we have, well, then Brock Purdy is worth this money, because if you get rid of him, because the truth is, if he wants this money and the 49ers don't want to pay him, well, then you have to move on from him. Then the truth is, you're ultimately trying to find another quarterback who could do what we've seen Brock Purdy already do. And your hope is that you could get another quarterback. Maybe it's Baker Mayfield, but you've actually never seen it. You've actually never seen it. You've never seen Dak do it. You've never seen Kirk Cousins do it. You've never seen Caleb do it. You've never seen J.J. McCarthy do it. You've never seen Bo Nix do it. You've never seen any of these other quarterbacks do it. None of them. We've never even seen Lamar Jackson do it. Currently, we've seen Stafford do it, Josh Allen do it, Mahomes do it, Jalen do it. I guess probably Russ. We're not going to really count Aaron Rodgers. He's, that's practically retired, so who cares? I don't even really want to count Russ because he's, days away from being retired too. Even Stafford, quite frankly. But quarterbacks who you could legitimately sign to a 3-year deal, 4-year deal that okay, there's a chunk of prime in these quarterbacks left. You can't really say that about Stafford, Russ, or Aaron. There's only so many quarterbacks out there. And I believe Lamar can do. I can believe in it. This isn't me downplaying Lamar or any of these other quarterbacks. But we've seen it. We've seen it. You don't have to guess. So this whole conversation just gets kind of absurd. Again, it was such a mess of a season for the 49ers last year. And I'm on the record always saying I don't like to just go by stats. I never like to just go by stats. But I get permission to go by stats when you use a graphic like this. And then when you claim I'm going to be able to keep repeating this graphic as time goes on. If that's the case, if we're just looking at stats and nothing else, well then here are the stats. Brock Purdy, PFF, was top 10. Okay? He was top 3 in yards per attempt. I don't know what to tell you. He was top 12 in passer rating. I don't know, man. He was top 10 in yards. And again, just fraction away from being with Aaron Rodgers, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes. He's if this was a graph, he's essentially right there. He's essentially right at the cusp of being top 5, because there's really only this big jump at top 5 where you jump to 4,300, and Lamar's a little bit of a bridge at 4,100. But when you're talking about these players who are 38 to 39, you're right there. You're millimeters away. So essentially, he's right at that cusp of top 5 in yards in terms of the distribution of how the NFL is. So I just don't understand. It's really absurd. And he's top 15 in completion percentage, but again, as we know, he's throwing the furthest, some of the furthest passes per attempt in average depth of target. And you have some of these other players who are throwing the shortest passes with the most yak. And that's also the thing about yards. If he got the same level of yak as Patrick Mahomes, as Jared Goff, he would easily be in the 4,000s. That's just a fact. That's just a basic, fundamental, indisputable, mathematical fact. That's just the reality. And since these days we want to cry about pressure, O-line, O-line, O-line. Okay. Brock Purdy, 2,000 dropbacks with pressure. Patrick Mahomes, 2012. That quarterback that had the trash O-line, and that's why he loses? That's weird. So I guess it's right within range. He was sacked 31 times. Patrick Mahomes was sacked 36 times. Pressure to sack percentage was 17. Brock Purdy, 15.5. So Brock Purdy actually avoided the sack more than Patrick Mahomes did per pressure. That's actually pretty good. 15 is very low. That's like, you know, again, within relative range of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, for different reasons. No, it's even Josh Allen and Lamar are freaks. Josh Allen's 8. Lamar Jackson's 11. Brock Purdy's right there, top 5 though. 15.5. That matters. Taking sacks are devastating. That's why they got on Jalen Hurts for sacks. So yeah. Again, if we just want to use stats, let's use them. I mean, here are the stats. Doesn't get more statty than this. But if you want to actually have some nuance, we can do that. We can throw away the stats, but then we actually have to bring some nuance. And if you want to say, yeah, but like Patrick Mahomes wins or this or that, and I'm using Patrick Mahomes only because of Nick using this graphic here. Like that's why. Because it's really kind of the perfect example of like, okay, if you want to play the stats game, let's play the stats game. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has 3 Super Bowls, and when you look at his just Super Bowl stats, they're awful. And they're even worse than they meet the eye, because he was able to get some garbage touchdowns against the Philadelphia Eagles as confetti and Gatorade was falling on the Eagles. His touchdown to interception ratio would be even worse. His total yards per game would be even worse. His completion percentage, worse. His passer rating, worse. Like, his stats are actually artificially inflated. Crazy. Well, you know what, Brock? It's good to be you, though. You got paid. You got your money. You're going to be with the 49ers. No one should feel bad for you. Just like no one should feel bad for Jalen Hurts. Super Bowl MVP. Super Bowl winner. Also making, you know, more money than probably anyone will ever see who's watching this video. Maybe I'll get there one day. I'd love to sign that $50 million contract, and I can explain to you guys all what it's like. Let me tell you why $50 million is not as much money as you think. Maybe one day I'll be able to speak from experience. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Brock Purdy just being a bad quarterback when he doesn't have, you know, his wide receivers, his running backs, his tight ends, his O-line? What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.